Recorded live at 4ZZZ Studios Brisbane on 102.1 FM.
And broadcast across Australia on the Community Radio Network.
You're listening to Z Games.
With 10 years experience and over 500 episodes,
Z Games brings you the best in gaming news, reviews, community and culture.
Want to reach out? Message us on Facebook at ZEDGamesAU.
Hello, you're listening to Z Games. My name is Ezie. I'm hanging out in studio with...
Elliott.
Yo! Us two guys in here tonight. It is a special night of Z Games because it is the last episode of the year for us.
So exciting.
It is exciting.
Yeah. I'm keen to talk about the year we've had.
There's so many games we've played.
Oh my god, so many games.
I mean, mainly so many games Paul has played, but we have all definitely also played lots of games. So yeah, that's what this episode is about. It's the Game of the Year segment, which will be right up after the news. Later in the episode, we will also be discussing one of the bigger releases of the year, Halo Infinite, the campaign released. We may even chat a little bit about the multiplayer. But yeah, so that's it. That's the show this evening. But without further ado, I would like to jump straight into the usual thing that we do, which is the week in gaming news. So let's do it.
This week in gaming news, Riot Games settles gender discrimination suit. Riot Games has agreed to pay the equivalent of 138 million Australian dollars in a settlement with members of a class action lawsuit over cases of gender discrimination against their women employees. The class action suit was first filed in 2018 by former employees Melanie McCracken and Jez Negron after a Kotaku investigation into Riot's sexist workplace culture, and includes all current and former full-time and temp employees in California. Riot also agreed to third-party monitoring of pay equity and internal reporting for the next 3 years. The plaintiff's counsel Jeannie Harrison released a statement saying, "We appreciate Riot's introspection and work since 2018 toward becoming a more diverse and inclusive company, its willingness to take responsibility for its past, and its commitment to continued fairness and equality in the future." Final Fantasy XVI reveal delayed. Final Fantasy XVI's producer Naoki Yoshida has issued a statement via the game's official Twitter account apologizing for pushing back the game's next big reveal that was previously announced for this year. Yoshida wrote that Final Fantasy XVI has amassed a sizable team composed of talented creators from around the world. However, in an effort to offset the effects of COVID-19, we've had to decentralize that workforce. This has unfortunately hampered communication from the Tokyo office, which in turn has led to delays in asset deliveries. He further stated that next big reveal would come in autumn next year for us in Australia. Possible Steam ban in China. News outlets this week reported that some Chinese Steam users were unable to log into the global version of Valve's digital game store Steam. Steam monitoring website SteamDB was quoted as saying that access to the service was cut off in a way consistent with the Chinese government's efforts to block other websites. But users were still able to access Steam China, a restricted version of the platform with less features and a limited library of games which are approved by the government. Rumors have circulated on Twitter that some users in China were still able to access Steam without a VPN, and some have speculated that the apparent block was the result of a DNS poisoning attack. Without official statements from the government or Valve, the exact nature of the situation remains unclear. Tesla disables passenger play under regulatory pressure. Finally, we have an unsurprising update to the story about Tesla's new in-car gaming feature known as passenger play. Tesla appears to have caved to regulatory pressure, confirming that an automatic update has rolled out to Tesla vehicles that forcibly disables passenger play while the car is in motion. The move came just one day after the US National Highway Traffic Safety Administration announced a formal investigation into whether the feature would be a hazardous distraction to drivers. NHTSA stated that they are working with Tesla but will continue the investigation into whether the manufacturer's infotainment screens are a distraction hazard despite the changes. That's all this week in gaming news.
Thank you so much, Hazel, for the week in gaming news. That was your first time doing the news. Good stuff. That was excellent.
Yeah, that was really well presented.
Yeah, love it. The news is fascinating, though, on a totally different note. Riot settles the gender discrimination suit, 138 million Australian dollars. I think it was about 100 million.
100 mil US. Right?
US, yeah. I was actually reading up on some stats for 2021, and Tencent, who own Riot Games, actually generated $22 billion this year. So if you think $100 million is a lot to settle, they've made quite a significant number more than that. Games industry, full of cashola. I cannot wait for the Australian government to capitalise on that.
Oh. I'm shocked that... I'm not shocked, but I'm shocked they haven't already, to be honest.
I mean, there's billions of dollars floating around ready to be taken,
snatched
really.
up,
Yeah, so anyway, hopefully 2022 brings us some sweet moolah for the games developers here in Australia. Well, I won't dive too much into the other topics because I did actually want to talk about some hyped games for the year, because we don't have any releases coming out over the next week that's really of note, as it's this Christmas, New Year period, and no one even knows what day it is. So, but do you have any hype games, Elliot?
I am very keen for Pokemon Arceus.
Oh yeah, damn, that's like a couple of weeks away. Isn't it?
That's really soon. I've been asking them to make like an open world game ever since I played Blue the first time. Like,
by asking them, do you mean that you were like praying to
begging
yourself?
them? I did write them a letter
Oh
when I was a
my
small
gosh,
child.
that's so cute. Excuse me, Pokemon
Please,
Company.
Mr. Pokemon, please make me a big open world
Excuse
game.
me, Mr. Pokemans. Can you please make... Yeah, well, that's cool, because, I mean, I'm still, like, I've got my pre-order in. I'm ready to go.
I'm so hyped.
But I'm also still a little bit like, oh, they've never done anything like this.
Yeah, well,
Who knows?
The initial trailer was very sparse, so I am cautiously hopeful.
Yes. I'm not putting all my, eggs in one basket with hope with relations to this, because sometimes it doesn't, translate very well. But
we'll see.
We'll see. We'll see how it turns out.
There's still other games though, like Horizon
Forbidden West. That's actually my number one hype so far for 2022. That, and I'm also quite excited for Tiny Tina's Wonderland.
Yes.
as well.
Oh man, so many people are hyped for that.
Yeah, I do quite like the Borderlands universe, so this spin-off should be pretty cool. And it's a cool character to choose to spin off with as well.
Yeah. I'm also hyped for Elden Ring.
Elden Ring, isn't that the most anticipated game of 2022?
Yeah,
I believe,
which is shocking because I didn't think that people hated themselves so much. I mean, it looks sick. It's just you will die. You will die many times.
Well, okay. So for anyone who doesn't know, Elden Ring is sort of Dark Souls creator.
It's from Software, yeah.
It's from the same developers there, and I believe creators of that.
Yeah,
and then
George R.R. Martin has written a whole bunch of stuff for it, which is cool.
George R.R. Martin. So if you're a Game of Thrones lover, you may also find yourself interested in the lore or narrative story of Elden Ring. Again, it's something that I'm cautiously hopeful, but all that sort of stuff. If Dark Souls is anything to go by, Dark Souls is considered one of the greatest games series of all time. So, again, Pokemon's also prolific too. So we'll see.
We shall see. We shall see.
We have been burnt before. Cyberpunk. Other hype games, actually, for next year that don't have specific release dates, but we may know more in the new year, is Avatar Pandora. Pandora? I believe it's that one.
Yeah, I'm thinking Pandora's
the James
Legacy,
Cameron Avatar.
Yeah.
Frontiers
of Pandora.
Frontiers of Pandora, that's it.
Yes.
Yeah, so
that looks cool. I love that movie. When I saw it once, I think everyone saw it once and then completely forgot about it.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. But it looks cool. It's a cool, very pretty.
I have a mental image of some of the stuff that I saw in the trailer, and I was like, I remembered locking that into my memory, being like, this looks cool. This looks like something to be excited for.
Yeah.
That, as well as I'm also still excited for the Skywalker Lego, which we still don't even know anything about that either.
What, last year?
Last year, nobody knows anything. There's still no date set. There's still no date set for also Hogwarts Legacy, and there's another game as well, I believe, that we're still not entirely sure. But yeah, there's still plenty to come. Lots of indie gems, I'm sure, will pop up throughout next year as well. If you've got a game for 2022 that you're hyped about, you should let us know so we can mention it, because game hype is fun. Text us on 0420 626 733. I want to hear about it. Or you can message us on Zed Games Facebook page at ZED Games AU as well. Message us there. My name is Ezie, and I'm hanging out in studio with
Elliott.
We are now coming up to the most hyped part of the show this evening. I mean, aside from maybe later in this evening when we could also have more hype. But right now, it is Zed Games Game of the Year 2021. And I am the only person who knows the list. So,
I'm so excited.
Elliot, do you have like an inkling?
Not at all.
No, okay.
I said that I was like really keen for Halo to be on the list, and you're like, you might be shocked. And I was like, oh, jeez.
Yeah, Halo.
I'm shocked. I have no idea.
No, I'm kidding. It's not that. Your face. Oh, wow. Elliot nearly killed me with a look just then. No, it is on the list. Don't stress. So, yes, I got everyone on the team to give me their favorite games, the top 3 of this year. So then I sort of did rudimentary math and did the tally. And what I'll do is I'll read out to you guys some of our top picks. And then I'll go from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 in order of best game.
Is
our top 5
I'm so
at the
excited.
end. Yeah. All right. So in our top 20 region of games for the year, we have Pokemon Diamond and Pearl, Ratchet and Clank, Sonic Forces, Mo Astray, Puzzling Places, Inscription, Townscaper, XO1, Deathloop, Back for Blood, and Returnal.
Yes.
Yeah, sure.
I love Returnal, man.
So those are some of the big picks there. Now, the top 5 places actually have 2 tied spots. So in the 5th place, there is a tie, which, I mean, these are pretty cool games, and I did play one of the songs earlier tonight. So Psychonauts 2 in 5th place, along with Outer Wilds Echoes of the Eye.
Ooh.
Yeah, 5th place. In 4th place, which we were just listening to, was Ghosts of Tsushima.
Yes.
Director's Cut in 4th place. In 3rd place, and this one's a tie as well, is Valheim and Monster Hunter Rise. All right, now we're coming down to our top 2 for the evening. I can see people messaging me in being like really excited right now, so I'm just gonna like waffle on and really draw it out because people really love that. So with an astounding 6 points in 2nd place for second spot for Game of the Year was Halo Infinite.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. So there you go. It made it.
I'm glad.
You're like, oh, the sweat.
Sigh of relief.
All right. But for Game of the Year 2021, Zed Games have selected a game that we have talked about at length. We play music from at length. It was made and created by Brisbane developers, Witchbeam Studios. Lovely people and friends of ours as well. Unpacking Takeout number 1.
Awesome.
So there you have it. Zed Games number 1 Game of the Year is Unpacking with an astounding 8 points. A lot of us really liked that one. So I think Paul was taking bets that it was Unpacking, and he was correct. So.
Paul's always right.
Yeah, well, what can you do? But Unpacking, fantastic game. If you haven't got your hands on it, it is available on pretty much all the platforms. You can get it on Switch, PC. I would recommend playing it on the PC. I played it on the Switch.
Well, it's on Game Pass still, isn't it?
It is on Game Pass too, yeah, so you can get it on there.
Yeah,
Actually, Django did want to mention that the real winner of 2021 is Game Pass.
Yes.
If you don't have a Game Pass subscription...
What are you doing?
You fool. We are not sponsored by Xbox or Microsoft, by the way, but you should definitely get that. Because
they should sponsor us.
They should.
Hey,
yeah.
if you work for Microsoft, put the word out.
Yeah, Zed Games. We know what we're talking about. Also, this city, Brisbane, that we're recording in, amazing devs. So, we make lots of good stuff in the city. So,
oh, yeah.
Get amongst it. So that's the best game of the year, Unpacking. We do also have some opinions on games that are poor and lacking. Worst game of the year for me, because I'm actually like in pain thinking about this game.
Pretty bad.
Dungeons and Dragons D&D Dark Alliance was quite literally the worst thing I think I've played in recent memory.
Yeah.
Not just this year, but that is by far the worst game I've played. If you own it, I would either burn it or sell it to someone who doesn't know how bad it is. Try and get your money back. But yeah, no, that's not a good game.
No, yeah, we played that together, and it was a time.
We thought we liked it for a moment.
Well, yeah, because I think the excitement of being able to play together, because I think that was one of the first
Yeah,
games
no,
we
when you
played
can play
together.
something multiplayer, it immediately becomes more good.
Yeah.
And that's bad English, but more good is what I'm going with.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know Paul's least favourite game of the year was 12 Minutes. 12 minutes of crap, apparently. That you, by the way, 12 minutes, you can play in about 4 to 5 hours. So it's not 12 minutes, but 12 minutes got pretty bad. I also, Necromunda Hired Gun 49, that had poorly received by Toby. Toby did not like that one. There's also Bayonetta, didn't do so well.
Bayonetta?
Is it Bayonetta? No.
No. Balan Wonderworld?
Yeah, sorry.
Bayonetta, I would fight you.
I was like, sorry, that's a
Jesus,
good game.
That is a good game. Oh my god.
Another game that's apparently really terrible is also called Taxi Chaos.
My most favorite worst game is the GTA trilogy.
Yeah.
Seeing clips from that is hilarious.
Because, wait, there's a whole bunch of programming issues too, hey?
Oh, dude, it's so bad. They put such minimal effort into that remaster. Like, just not great.
Yeah, I think there was, like, parts of it being sort of, like, they didn't even get the proper copyright for the music and
Yeah,
stuff.
and instead of deleting it, they just, like,
They
put
left-
in a bit of code to, like, mute the
Yeah,
mute
but the music
radio.
was still
The music
in-
is still there.
Like, just remove the asset. Remove the audio file. Like, that didn't even
Wild.
happen. Instead, someone programmed the music out, which just seems a bit...
Yeah, they just muted the radio, essentially. And
So it's running. It's actually
running.
using
It's actually there.
processing.
Like, people found it. What a wild ride.
I think we should start a thing for, like, Darwin Awards for games or something, you know, like...
Yeah, just...
I mean, it's cruel
The
to do
best
that,
way to
but-
get sued. How can you do that?
Another bad game, I'm pretty sure, was Monster Harvest. I know Zara was not a fan of that one. But the review is on the Z Games website, so you can have
Fantastic review.
great review, terrible game. You can check that out on the Z Games website. We post lots of reviews there, actually. zgames.net.au. Go check that out. Anyway,
So you're listening to Z Games, is that it?
You're listening to Z Games. You're listening to Z Games.
Hello, you're listening to Z Games.
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 Perfect. Thank you.
that's right. You're listening to Z Games. My name is Ezie. I'm hanging out in studio with Elliot. We are now about to talk about that very game. We are going to talk about Halo Infinite, which provides infinite amounts of fun.
Oh my god. Full disclosure, I am very biased. I love Halo. I love Halo.
It's ingrained in my very core.
Yeah.
It was the very first game I ever played on the very first Halo console. It was prolific for its marketing and not just for the game itself, but how it was promoted.
Microsoft did such a good job with that. Like,
Yeah, it was its flagship game to actually announce the Xbox console.
yeah.
It's been literally the most successful series that they've done has been
Yeah.
Halo.
That, like, Xbox and Halo are completely synonymous. Like,
Yep.
it's an amazing series. for
Incredible franchise. And Paramount Plus have an original Halo series coming out next year. We're not sponsored by them. I just thought I'd
that.
mention
No,
it.
I'm buying Paramount for that. Like,
yeah.
I'm so keen.
Shut up and take my money. That's what's happening there. So yeah, Halo is prolific. Master Chief John, what a
1-7.
what a guy! Always so expressive in the face.
Oh yeah. Very.
I guess I don't know. He's always wearing a helmet. So, but yeah, we're going to talk about Halo Infinite. Elliot and I have been playing a little bit. I haven't finished it yet. Elliot has.
I took days off so I could finish it.
Yeah, I know you binged that.
Oh, dude, 3 days. I was so keen.
I mean, I'm a little disappointed that we couldn't play co-op initially with the campaign launch. However, that's coming out later in 2022 as another expected thing.
Yeah, it is a shame, but I understand that.
I would rather they push it back as much as they've got to in order for it to be of quality.
Yeah, I mean, nothing excites me more than a functional co-op where we can both be on Razorbacks, a whole stack of Marines with Sentinel beams, just messing up the world.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited! But also throwing the things that are new that I haven't.
Oh,
what are they called?
Oh, dude,
they're like
the fusion coils.
Fusion coils, yeah, they're like the explosive little.
Yeah.
Doodabs that you can oh my god, there's actually quite a lot of really cool YouTube clips of people messing up grunts and other Covenant.
The voice acting in this is phenomenal, and the dialogue they've done for the grunts, hilarious. Best dialogue in any Halo game. It's so good.
And this is why it's the number 2 pick for, Zed Games this year.
Yeah.
Because it's just, great voice lines mainly.
That's the only reason.
No, there's plenty of other reasons. I mean, I think probably the most outstanding experience for me, because I remember when they did the original launch at E3 back in 2020, before they pushed it back. I remember watching the video and they did some gameplay and a lot of people were really upset. Oh, no, wait, this was the Xbox showcase. My apologies.
Yeah.
They showcased it originally and then people were upset about,
the quality was...
They were worried about this grappling hook. They weren't sure how effective this was going to be, whether this was some kind of cheesy mechanic they're introducing that's going to affect the game. It's also much more open world than it's ever been. It does have sort of like open world missions, a bit like if you've played Spider-Man, Miles Morales, stuff like that. These sort of side quests and stuff that all sort of build in. It sort of feels more like you're interacting with a larger universe and less of like a narrow path to objective. It's a very vast game now, and it's got so much replayability. Narratively, I can't speak to that, Elliot. You've completed the narrative.
It hit me in the feels, I'll be honest. I finished that and I wasn't sure what to expect. And obviously, like I said, I'm super biased. I have a lot of intense feelings about Halo. It's the game I played with my dad when I was a kid. Great memories. So I wasn't sure what to expect, but I just it hit me good. I really enjoyed it. I knew that this was something it wasn't going to have a solid finish, but that didn't upset me as much as I thought it would. I'm happy with how it went, and I'm keen to see how it goes.
Yeah. Don't spoil too much.
I'm not saying nothing. That's why I'm
excited about it. But it's good though. And it's sort of to be expected that there's going to be a kind of open ending.
Well, they did
with
say
this
is going to be a 10-year game.
Yeah. This is going to be they're obviously going to add DLC
I think
to
they're
this
going
as well.
The Destiny route, the add in extra content you have to pay for expansions kind of thing.
Yeah. And I think that's fair. I guess with Game Pass you won't be.
Yeah.
Because you're going to have that access with that subscription. But something that it's also really notable about Halo Infinite, as long-time players of the Halo series, is that how good it feels.
Yeah.
It feels... So, when I was a kid and I remember playing Combat Evolved, the very first game, and it felt smooth, it felt great, you felt really in control. I was really, and you go back to play that now, it feels clunky and it feels totally different. It's an iconic game, but doesn't feel nearly as smooth and as polished as first-person shooters feel now.
It still feels good, in my opinion. I played the collection. I spent 3 weeks playing the
generation,
collection.
Extraordinary.
Yeah, but you're right. It when you play Infinite now, it's it's so smooth. It's like butter.
When I play Halo Infinite, it feels like the first time I played Halo Combat Evolved.
Yeah, that feeling of wonderment.
But just being in control and feeling like Master Chief.
Yeah.
And the being able to slide as well, and other little extra things. That's a really nice feeling as well. The jump feels really solid, because the jump always used to feel really spacey, you're in a spacesuit. And that still has that feeling, but it doesn't feel like it's holding you back.
Yeah, you
These are
definitely
really nice.
feel like you've got that strength and that weight behind you, even if you... Which I think is something that's hard to manage, because obviously Chief is like, he's a super soldier, and he's supposed to be super powerful and do everything with ease, which has felt, like you said, kind of light and airy before, but it still feels like he has that power and those abilities to jump, like, 10 feet in the air or whatever.
Yeah.
But now you can feel the weight behind it, because the dude's like 1,000 kilos. Like,
yeah, no, he's a big boy. He's like 8 foot or something.
Yeah,
Isn't he?
and
like 7,
he's
7.5, 8
like
foot?
canonically like 500 kilos is the suit, and he's apparently 500 kilos because of all the like messed up.
His built.
Yeah,
he's been
He's a
eating
big
a
boy.
lot of nachos. His built, and they're meant to be. They're these jack soldiers. They were literally born and bred for
that. Well, not born, kidnapped and bred.
Yeah, well, we don't have to go into the sad history of John, and his love for an AI. God, probably one of the greatest love stories there ever is. Yes, but Halo Infinite, fantastic game. If you don't, the multiplayer not so good, but the actual campaign,
multiplayer needs a lot of work.
Yes. And that we can discuss that at some point. We'll discuss the multiplayer. But if you haven't played Halo Infinite and you're finding the time over the holiday period, I definitely recommend. It feels good. It looks good. It's polished. The music is just as fantastic as it was always. It feels like my first time playing Halo, but reinvigorated with new feeling, new mechanics, new tech, and better advancements in computers. And it just feels right. So yeah,
a lot of game series coming out lately.
Yeah,
and
lots.
Shockingly, not horrible.
Actually good.
Yeah.
And popular.
Yeah.
By people who are not familiar with those games either. A lot of people who don't play League of Legends have thoroughly enjoyed Arcane.
Yeah.
So that's really cool.
It's really cool. Like, if you told me, like, 5 years ago, hey, like, a bunch of these game, things are going to be really popular, I'd be like...
Yeah, right.
Yeah, sure.
Keep my money in my pocket. Yeah, no, none of that. But they're doing really well. Speaking of doing really well, it has been a really good year. I think Zed Games has been, playing lots of games, and that's good.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good time.
That's the essence of this show. We play lots of games, we review them, we tell you guys how they are.
Yeah.
Most of the time, they're pretty good, actually.
Yeah, well, I mean, I feel like most of the Zed gamers have fairly decent taste in games, so...
Yes.
We
are quite eclectic, but...
Yeah.
But good.
Yeah.
And, guess what? In 2022, we're going to be doing it all again.
Yes.
Bringing you more of the best in gaming news, reviews, and community. We love updating you on what's happening around the local Brisbane area in terms of game development as well. We are very proud to deliver that to you. But on that note, until next year, thanks for tuning in.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm going to leave you guys on a song called Floral Fury from a game called Cuphead. There's going to be a new DLC coming out next year, and I suspect some more music. So I'll leave you on this jazzy vibe. But yeah, from Elliot and I, we're out.
Have a good New Year's, guys.
Bye!
See ya!
Thanks for listening to Zed Games.
If you'd like to listen to more, check out our podcast on Spotify.
Or follow us on social media at ZED Games AU.
See you next time.